In this short video, I'm going to show you how to set up FreshTransition to support your job search exactly the way you want it to. This is the home screen that you'll see most of the time on FreshTransition. But the very first time you come into FreshTransition, you'll end up at the Job Alerts page. The Job Alerts page gives you the option of having FreshTransition send you emails every day when there's jobs that fit your job search criteria. It's easy to turn on. Just click Yes, and then put your job search criteria in the two boxes, some keywords and your location, and then click Save. Once you do that, FreshTransition will send you an email whenever we find a job that fits the type of job you're looking for. The next piece of configuration is going to Settings. And here you can adjust your personal information, including your first name, your last name, the email address we contact you at, your time zone. You can change your password, and you can set your email preferences. So do you want to receive a weekly progress update by email that tells you how you've done towards your job search targets and what you've got coming up the following week? The next selection is whether you want to receive a daily agenda. We'll send you an email every morning telling you about all the things you have to do to stay on top of your job search. Any follow-ups requiring completion today, meetings, interviews, and whatnot. Then you can set your job search preferences, whether you're going to be looking for work in Canada or the US, and this impacts the type of job search sites that FreshTransition can access under the job search button. If you select just Canada, you'll only get Canadian job search sites, and if you select just the US, you'll get American job search sites. You can select both as well. At the very bottom, you can set FreshTransition to access your LinkedIn account so that you get your LinkedIn network streaming down the left-hand side of the page. It will also enable you, when you enter contacts or company names into FreshTransition, to see where those people are in your network or whether there are people in those companies that you can access through your LinkedIn network. Finally, you can set your targets. Click on My Targets under Settings, and here's where you can set FreshTransition to support your job search and prompt you to do the things you need to do to maintain that sort of momentum you need as you're looking for work. So here you can set a networking target, and you can also set a job application target. For networking, you can select No or you can select Yes. Once you select Yes, you'll be asked how many networking activities do you want to do on a daily basis, how soon are you going to follow up after that initial discussion, and then how soon would you follow up after a face-to-face meeting. Select the number of days that fits the type of job search you want to do and the way that you want to be doing networking as part of it. There's a handy little video here as well that tells you a little bit about networking and why you should be doing it as part of your search. You can set your daily job application target, how soon you're going to follow up after you submit a job application, and how soon you're going to follow up after an interview. Click Save, and when you go back to the home screen, what you'll see is FreshTransition is going to prompt you to do the activities and the number of activities based on what you've set in your targets. Follow-ups will be queued for you based on when you complete a networking activity, a meeting, a job application, or an interview. FreshTransition will automatically schedule those activities for you and prompt you on this screen. There's a calendar at the bottom of the screen where you'll see all the events that you've completed and all the events that are scheduled for you coming up. You can scroll left to right by pushing the buttons to the right or to the left, or you can select any day and then schedule to-dos, meetings, interviews, or anything else you need to do. Past days, you can also add applications or networking events that you've completed on those days. So here's how you use FreshTransition to become a better job seeker. You've already set targets around the types of activities you're going to conduct in your job search, networking and job applications, and all the follow-up parameters. And so now FreshTransition on the home screen is going to tell you exactly what you need to do to stay on top of your search. How many networking activities you've done towards your target, how many applications you've done towards your target, and how many follow-ups you have to complete based on the parameters you set earlier in your targets. You can adjust your targets once again by going to Settings and clicking on My Targets and making any changes you want. Don't forget to click Save. So here's how I record an event that I've conducted in my job search. So maybe I've applied for a job and I want to record it in the system. So I can go to Job Applications and I can put in the company name. And maybe it's Dell that I applied to, and maybe it was for a sales manager role. And maybe I found the job at Indeed.com, or maybe at Dell, or maybe through a contact that I have. I can put whatever I need to put in here that helps me remember where I applied for the job. So in this case, I'll just put in Dell.com. What I can do too is I can click on the LinkedIn icon to see if there's anybody that I know in my network that might be able to help me with securing this job. And I can put anybody I want's contact information down the left-hand side of the screen here. Maybe I know somebody named Michael Smith. I don't know if he's at Dell or not, but maybe this was the person that I found who was able to help me with this position. I can look him up on LinkedIn, and I can actually add him directly to the system here by clicking Create Contact. And I can click OK, and now Michael Smith from LinkedIn is now right within my FreshTransition system, and he's associated with this Dell position. I click Save. The system has time-stamped the job application for me. It's scheduled a follow-up for me based on the parameters that I set earlier in my targets. And I can change the follow-up as well. Maybe I want to follow up next Thursday or next Wednesday. Maybe I want to change the application date because I didn't apply today. Maybe I applied yesterday, and I'm just catching up now on the applications that I did yesterday. I can now attach my resume, cover letter, follow-up letters. I can even do a quick search to see if there's cover letters that might fit for this type of job, a template, a sample, by just clicking on this button. To add a resume or a cover letter, I click Add. I can add them from my computer, or I can add them from the resumes I've already uploaded to FreshTransition. And I also have an area here for notes, where I can add notes about the position or my thoughts on the position, or maybe come back at a later date and add another note about maybe an interview or another discussion I had with somebody at that company. Now when I go back to the home screen, what I see is I've completed one of my 2 applications. It appears in my calendar here, and if I click on my calendar at the top of the page, I also have a follow-up scheduled for it on the 13th. If I want to come and search for this position, I can always click Dell in the search box, click Search, and I instantly get results back for all the activities in my job search having to do with Dell. Maybe they've called me back and asked me to come in for an interview, so I simply click Add an Interview. I put the interviewer's name, the location of the interview, the date and time, any notes I might have, and I click Save. The system will schedule the interview for me and also schedule a follow-up. I can also do a quick search to see where 100 Broadway in New York is. Quick result from Google Maps comes back. Again, I go back to the home screen, I can see what I've completed, and if I go to my full page calendar, I can see the follow-ups in my calendar on the 13th, the interview is scheduled on the 28th, and a follow-up has been scheduled for me on the 29th. I also have my entire past and history available to me. At the click of a button, I can see all the applications I've done, all the networking activities I've done, any interviews I've done, and I can also see all the activities I've got coming up in the future. Another great tip is to use the job search functionality at the top of the screen. I can go into Indeed.com and do a quick search for a job that I'm looking for. Maybe I'm looking for a nursing role in New York. So I get a list of results straight from Indeed.com of all the nursing roles that are available. Maybe this one right here is one that I'm interested in. So I can go and I can check it out on Indeed and I can apply for the job. And I can also record it very, very quickly in FreshTransition. I go back and I click Record in FreshTransition. And instantly, all the details are added to FreshTransition and I click Save. The job application is timestamped for me, a follow-up is created for me, and I can go attach my resume, cover letter, and any of the documents that I've used for this job application. And it's now recorded as an application in FreshTransition. The search button is one of the greatest features of FreshTransition because it allows you to find anything you've done in your search. Enter the names of individuals or companies that you've recorded in FreshTransition and click Search, and FreshTransition will instantly return a list of all of the activities associated with any of the information that you've entered. Well, that's it for our quick overview of FreshTransition. Get in touch with us at support@freshTransition.com if you have any questions.